Proud of the guys. Really tough week, and they did a great job staying together, staying focused on the task at hand. Played really hard. Tons of adversity this week and tons of adversity in the game. And they kind of just battled through. Couldn't be more proud of the way they competed, the way they played. So really just a great testament to the character of the guys on this team, the coaches who did a great job staying together, the support staff, everybody in a really difficult week managed to stay focused on the task at hand, which was getting Syracuse football to a bowl game in back-to-back years. That's a pretty special accomplishment.
Questions? We'll start right in front with Emily and Chris. Emily, we got a microphone for you right now.
Thank you. Coach, when did you know that Garrett Schrader would be able to go at the level he was today, and what played into the decision to have him go as much as he did?
We knew at about 2:07, to be honest, though. Honestly, like, he warmed up relatively well, but there were so many things he really had not done in practice, and it was a little bit like, okay, he's going to ramp it up on game day and see how that goes. I thought Jason did a great job of building a plan so that we had an escape hatch if that couldn't happen, because he really was very limited in practice, and he's a really gutsy kid. I mean, that's a really special performance. It was really important for him to help get this team to a bowl game. I know that was a really important thing for him, and he basically did everything he possibly could for us today. And I really appreciate it. I know the rest of the guys did too.
We'll stay in front with Chris.
Nunzio, how did you guys deal with sort of the subject of Dino? Did you encourage the kids to talk about him to a point and then cut off the conversation? How did you just deal with it?
The big thing is player-coach relationships are really deep, and some of these guys have relationships with coach, 4 and 5 years. And, I just told the kids, everybody in the room, none of us would be here without him, including myself, so you have to deal with that, and you have to kind of work your way through that. And at the same time, it's kind of part of, being a man, is that you have to be able to manage the expectations you have in the other areas of your life. And I think these guys did an excellent job of, managing those emotions and putting them aside when it was time to go out and play football. So, yeah, I totally encourage them to address it, to communicate with it, to talk to the assistant coaches about it. But at the same time, they did an excellent job of staying focused on going out and winning this game. They practiced great all week. There's some special guys in that locker room. 100%. On Sunday was one of the first things I said to them. Fortunately or unfortunately, I've been through this before, and you kind of learn some lessons about how that goes. And I certainly know how deep the relationships are. They're real relationships. Some guys more than others, but some guys were super affected by it. Other guys, just managed to go with the flow. But I think Coach. I don't think there's a person in the world that doesn't think Coach Babers is a great guy, and everybody in the program was thinking about him all week.
Coach, just right here.
Where?
Just what it means to you personally to get this victory and have that opportunity, knowing what was on the line in this game, to step in the way you did, and what it means to the staff as a whole to know that there's a 13th game.
Well, first of all, I told the kids inside, what an honor it was to be in a position to help them get to this point, and to lead them today. Really, it was honestly one of the great honors of my professional life. I mean, the history of this program is there's not many that can compare to it. So to have the opportunity to do this for 1 or 2 games is really a special thing. And then to see the guys go out and perform that way and compete that way, battle through some really tough situations, a bunch of crazy situational football things came up in that game. So honestly, it was really a special day for me.
Coach, I finally get to ask you about Dan Villari and his development and you working with him so closely this season. What have you seen from number 89 and to where he's gotten as the season's going on?
He's a special guy now. I mean, his desire to go out and get better, to improve, he has tremendous confidence. He believes in himself. He's a really talented athlete, can do a lot of things. And it just, him missing the spring and half of fall camp made it really hard for him, technically. You learn how to play tight end, and then, early in the year, you didn't really know what he could do. You knew that there was talent there, but from the Clemson game on, it just seems like he just continued to trend in the right direction. And the more we asked him to do, the better he played, the more he took on. He's got a super bright future, and he's a fun guy to coach because, he walks in on Sunday saying, like, all right, what do we got? You know, he's excited to go out and get better and try some different stuff.
Go right in front of WAER here, and then to Mario on the platform and back after that.
Coach, when talking about your relationships with coaches Beck and Long, can you touch on that? And coming into this game, did you want to assert your influence, or did you just let them do their own thing?
Oh, well, I think the whole staff is very close. I think we have great relationships. You know, I was really fortunate when I first got hired to drive around, take Coach Long around New Jersey and look at all the defensive players. I got to spend some time with him. He's a special guy. I mean, that guy's coached a lot of ball, and he knows a lot. And, you know, I work with Jason every day. He's a phenomenal football coach, one of the smartest guys I've met. He's done a tremendous job battling through so many different things that have come up this year. And, you know, he's done a great job leading. What was the second part of that question? No, they called the game 100%. You know, I mean, really the communication was all about situations. What are we going to do? What distances we're going for? Kicking field goals, going for it. That type of stuff. You know, Coach Long, you know, has been coaching that defense for longer than, you know, maybe longer than I've been alive. And, you know, he's about as good as they come. And then, you know, Jason did an incredible job today and this week. And really, they did a great job of communicating with me, making sure that we were in the right situations.
All the way to back, little guy. Syracuse has now gone to bowl games for the second consecutive year, first time in a decade. To you and your staff, what do you think this SU program is right now?
One more time?
Where do you think this SU program is right now?
I think it's totally trending up. You know, there's a lot of really good players in this program. Whoever comes in and has the opportunity to lead this program is getting a team that has a chance to really make a big jump. There's a lot of really talented players. There's good kids that are willing to work hard. I think the future is really bright here, and I think the character of the guys in the locker room, you could really glean a lot of, you know, from what they did this week and how they conducted themselves. I think that this is definitely going in the right direction.
We'll go to Michael right here in the second row.
Coach, you guys hosted a lot of potential recruits before the game today. What kind of message does a performance like this send to those guys that, you know, even though there's the coaching change, Syracuse is still committed to putting on a winning performance?
I think it says to the players and it says to their parents that you could send your son to Syracuse and you know he's going to be surrounded by really high character people that are willing to fight for each other, you know, when things get hard. I think that's a special thing, you know, because that's a big part of, like, you know, who you sending your son to go play for or with, or, you know, and so I am, like I've said it a bunch of times, so proud of the players. They sent that message that, you know, this is a program that you want to be a part of.
Josh in the third row on the right here.
Coach, can you talk to me a little bit about the putting together the offensive game plan? Were you saying Garrett wasn't ready up until game time? And the combination of having Dan and Wildcat, LeQuinn and Wildcat, but also Garrett throwing the ball around a little bit.
You know, it's really been 3 or 4 weeks of trying to figure out how it's going to go on game day. There's a certain level of uncertainty, and so it's not easy. You know, you have to practice. Like I said, they're kind of building some escape hatches, though, that you build almost multiple different things into the plan in the event that, you know, all right, Garrett's healthy, he's not healthy. You know, Carlos has been banged up for 3 weeks, so that has not been easy. I give the players a lot of credit because we're asking them to take on a bunch of jobs. I mean, how many snaps LeQuinn and Dan have taken at quarterback is pretty impressive. They've done a great job of just the operation of playing quarterback, making sure people are set, motions are done the right way. That stuff's not easy. So that has been a challenge, and they have accepted that challenge, done a great job.
We'll go to Wyatt in the third row here, and then back to Emily in front.
Coach, obviously Garrett threw the ball more today than he had been in the last couple games. Still didn't look 100%. How would you kind of rate his performance based on his health, and just how limited kind of was he today?
I couldn't rate his performance high enough for what I know that he's going through. That was off the charts. You know, I mean, really was. Like I said, the level of sacrifice and love he has for his teammates is really clear because of what he went out and did today, and, you know, what he's been battling through. That's pretty special.
Emily and then Chris again.
Nunzio, speaking of your future, has Wildhack indicated to you at all that he would like you to still remain part of the staff if it's possible moving forward?
To be honest, we haven't even really talked about it. You know, I just kind of focus on the task at hand, and that's pretty much going out and trying to win this game.
How do you approach the next week, 2 weeks, as you are still in charge of this program until a new coach is brought in, you have a bowl game to prepare for?
Well, right now it'll just be about, what can we do to make sure that we go out and win that game, which is going to be hard because you don't know who you're playing or where you're going and that type of stuff. But there's so much, one, you can get in the weight room and go out and get better that way, get the guys healthy, maybe do some fundamental football with the young guys. We'll just, do the best we can to make sure that we continue to get better at playing football.
Along the same lines as Emily a little bit, do your job duties, did you have to talk to any of the candidates over the course of the week? Was that something you were asked to do?
No, that's way out of my scope.
There was a rumor that one of them was actually out of practice on Wednesday. Dan Mullen, was that true?
Maybe he was in a costume or something. I don't know, but I didn't see him out there.
We'll take 2 more for Coach. We'll start right here in front.
Coach, you talk about the adversity that some of the players experienced during the week, even the adversity that maybe you even experienced during the week. Could you just talk about what kind of changes you wanted to implement from Sunday to now that you thought could put this team in a better position to win?
I don't know that you could change a whole lot in a short period like this. I mean, a lot of it was staying focused, and if we did anything, we made took some time to focus on some situational football things, just things that I think are critically important to trying to win games. And we went out and competed a little bit in practice, maybe a little differently, not a whole lot differently though. We really tried to keep them healthy. So, it's not so much that we did a whole lot differently. We just tried to keep them positive and let them deal with what they were facing.
And last question for Coach. We'll go to Anthony right here.
Coach, Michael Kern ended with, I think, 225 passing yards. Can you kind of talk about how you felt the defense and the secondary executed today?
Well, I thought their quarterback played really well. He made some big plays. I mean, listen, we play a lot of man coverage. We put you in tough spots for those DBs. So they made some plays, but when it mattered, our guys came up with some really big plays. I mean, the stop to hold them to the field goal try that they missed was an enormous play in the game. And then obviously the stop at the end of the game. My college coach used to say to us all the time, there's 2 teams playing out there, right? So it's not easy. But I thought those guys kept battling, and that's really what you would expect. You would expect this game. I told them from jump it's going to come down to the last 30 seconds of the game, and it more or less came down to the last 30 seconds of the game. And I thought that we were able to finish the job at the end of the game. Thanks, guys.